Hello there, and welcome to one of two First Strikes available now because I can't help overloading myself with extra work, especially when two exceptional video games get released on the same day. Since I couldn't decide which to cover first, I'm gonna just do both, but I didn't think a single video for two very different games would be fair or well received. Anyway, I'm also aware that I really need to trim down my scripts for these sorts of videos, so no more delays. For your consideration, I present Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Wowie zowie! What a year for the plumber! We started early this year with a movie that Mario has deserved for a long time now, that has successfully erased most every video games don't make good movies argument out there. I'm not about to drop a movie review in the middle of a game review, but it was clear that the movie makers love Mario, and there's so much to love. When I was selling video games, I promise I sold more Mario games than any other franchise. Take that, GTA! And while many of those sales were indeed for children, many were not, because Mario has this universal appeal that's easy to love. This year has only continued to bring Mario fans more and more excitement, with no less than 4 games currently on the way that I am personally very excited for, even though most of them are remakes. But the most exciting news this year was an all-new 2D Mario game, something we haven't seen for almost a decade now, as long as you ignore the one remake and the Maker games. Even more exciting, they removed the new part of the moniker, indicating fresh ideas not seen by the series before. Obviously, Nintendo understands internet culture by not only revealing the new signature Elephant Mario Powerup, but also including their adorably hilarious animations with Yoshi and other characters, and showing off the extremely trippy concept of the Wonder Flowers. I didn't need any more to be excited. Personally, I was in the store the next day for my pre-order. One thing that didn't change was an acceptably minimal story. Mario and friends are visiting the neighboring Flower Kingdom, and Prince Florian, when Bowser shows up in a bid for conquest, steals a Wonder Flower, which proceeds to merge him with the Flower Kingdom's castle. Now, Mario and company have to put a stop to his shenanigans with the usual jumpy adventure and a lot of surprises in store. Yeah, that's pretty weird, but every time I think that, I remind myself that Mario became a photorealistic dinosaur in his last all-new game. Mario's weird, Mario's wonderful, and brace yourself for several more instances of that particular pun. This is definitely a Mario game. That is to say, if you've played Mario in the last 4 decades or so, isn't that nuts? You'll understand how to play. Run around, avoid traps, beat enemies, reach flagpole. No major change there. Naturally, it's the various mechanics that provide novelty, and I'm going to break them down as best I can. The easiest to explain are the power-ups. So the most obvious is the elephant, which makes Mario and folks much larger than usual, also adding a pretty close-range melee trunk swipe, and the ability to store and spray water on flowers and stuff. It's not as versatile as the cat power-up from 3D World, but it's plenty of fun. There's also a new bubble flower power-up that lets you make a bubble that can defeat some otherwise invincible enemies, and create makeshift platforms to jump off. These are decent fun, but otherwise standard concepts for Mario gameplay that don't have many surprises in store. I'm also aware of a new drill power-up and like a Goomba transformation, but in the 3 hours I played, I never actually saw those. One of the bigger ideas this time around are the Wonder Flowers, which affect the stage as a whole, not just the characters. They have all kinds of effects, a few that get repeated, some just as a one-off, that include the craziness we saw in the trailers, like warp pipes coming alive, crawling like caterpillars, there's a bull stampede, a superstar shower, that weird, stretchy, shadowy thing, and way more. These are pretty exciting, as the level design has always been fun in 2D Mario, but seldom very surprising. I love that they're going nuts with the levels now. It makes the same old classic gameplay feel new again. There are far too many different Wonder Flower effects to get into, but it's not often the same thing twice. But actually, the most interesting mechanics are still surrounding all those things. You can now purchase and equip badges, little extra mechanics that can either save you from a difficult challenge or help you find hidden secrets, which, FYI, are freaking everywhere. So these badges get you things like a free save from a deadly fall, maybe a parachute, you get some extra coins from defeated enemies, and again, a lot more than that. Only one that I found seemed to be unuseful. There's a badge that makes you bounce like Tigger for literally an entire level. It's too hard to control to be that much fun, and I don't see how it'd be helpful for anything. It is amusing, and maybe adds a new challenge to those more masochistic players. Far more interesting and fun than anything else, though, is the new always online gameplay style. So it's not quite like New Super Mario Bros. Where you have 4 players physically present that tackle the same obstacles at about the same time. Occasionally you might be in a level physically with someone, but I don't think you really interact with them? No, I'm not sure. I need to try that. But for the most part, you'll see little ghostly versions of characters running around that you can largely ignore. But they actually come with some awesome benefits. For one, you can drop these little standees wherever you want in a level. These are mostly just fun to drop and touch, but they can be used for more clever purposes. For one, if you get hit, you'll have a few seconds to be revived, usually by another player present in your level, but if there's a standee nearby, that can also do the trick. So if you're the magnanimous sort, you can put up a standee near a tough spot to help other players through. I haven't reached anything that felt too hard yet, but it has saved me the odd life or two. You can also drop your standee to give light hints about secrets. There are actually a few levels specifically made for this, with the idea that there are hidden blocks and platforms all over, and you're meant to work with other players to mark where they are and make it through. What's cool about this too is that there are often hidden blocks that are invisible to all but certain characters, so nobody else may know that it's there except you, and you can totally share that info with the standee. Or keep it to yourself like a selfish jerkwad, but you do you. Admittedly, this can be a bit overwhelming if you have difficulty determining where the threats are in a level, but it's overall more fun and exciting than distracting, at least in my opinion. You can also give somebody else your power-ups. I never quite think to do that one. I haven't tried that. That's already a lot of stuff, but there's a few things I really appreciate about how this game is made. First of all, while it does still use a life system, there are so many assists available that this actually feels pretty fair. But they did remove the timer, and I suspect most players never noticed this, but I sure did. I love this because it removes the stress I might feel from wanting to backtrack and find the stuff I missed. And while most of the stuff I miss is relatively unimportant, this game does also incorporate Collectathon-style gameplay with the Wonder Seeds. The Wonder Seeds are this game's version of Power Stars, Power Moons, Green Stars, etc., etc. While they don't do anything else besides reward your successes, I am so glad they're here. Most of the time, all you gotta do is clear a stage to get your Wonder Seed, but many of the Wonder Flower segments also reward you with one once you get through that part. These seeds also make some of the new level ideas possible, like that look and find standee thing I talked about earlier. There are several levels that require a revisit to find other seeds, and there's even a challenge level or two that can technically be cleared without finding any of the seeds in it at all. This is one of the things I love in my video games, especially platformers. I love a reason to keep playing the same levels over and over again just to find new things, and so far, I can't think of any levels that I didn't like in this game. It's all very, very fun, very, very Mario, and here it is, truly wonderful. Told you there'd be more of those. At the end of the day, a Mario is a Mario is a Mario. These games are fun, full of whimsy, and have nice, tight platforming to satisfy fans of that style of game. This is the most exciting Mario game we've had in years, with several steps forward that feel so natural that it's more surprising they haven't happened yet. This game does an exceptional job of cherry-picking the pieces of Mario gameplay that are still fun and injecting new life into mechanics that complement the gameplay rather than detract. I was hoping to be constantly surprised and delighted the way I was with Super Mario Odyssey, and while I can't say I've reached that point, it's still loads of fun. I can't say this game would change any naysayers' opinions, but Mario fans rejoice. This game is pretty great. I guess my biggest complaint is that the game looks like it might be kinda small for how many new ideas there are, which isn't much of a complaint so much as the first stage of begging for a sequel. I need more, Nintendo. When is Super Mario Bros. Wonder 2 coming? There you have it. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is here, and it's a very fun time. I hope you're all enjoying it too. Quick note, I didn't talk too much about actual multiplayer because I haven't had a chance to try it yet. My mom won't play with me. Anyhow, you've been on YouTube, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, link to Patreon in the description below, and if you like lots of video games like I do, you're probably also playing Spider-Man 2 right now, just like me. And there's a link to that video, both below and on screen. Please check that out. I'll be back soon with some proper reviews, not just first strikes. So until then, have fun.